When gorse is out of bloom. They say in Devon, when gorse is out of bloom, kissing is out of fashion. But gorse is never truly out of bloom. There's always a gold-flamed bud hiding somewhere, just like Richard Ferrers, who always had a woman tucked out of sight, even when he was declaring his undying love for another. Richard was a man of appetites. His Shoreditch flat looked over the canal. His Jaguar gleamed in the underground garage, and his wardrobe was a curated blend of Savile Row and Soho swagger. The women, a revolving cast of ingenious stylists, influencers, and a barrister or two for gravitas. His charm wasn't his honesty, God no, but his conviction. He believed his own lies right up until he didn't. By then, the woman in question would be drying her tears on the Egyptian cotton while he uncorked something chilled for her successor. It was a wet April Thursday when he met Isabel. Long-legged, northern vowels, big brown eyes. She worked in publishing, which gave her an air of literary gravitas, but wore leopard print heels like she meant business. He met her at a launch party in Soho, fed her lies about writing a novel, and within days they were seeing each other. In truth, she was number 4 that month. But Isabel had something about her. She wasn't daft. She teased him about his phone always facing down, laughed when he tried to cook. You think you're Nigella, don't you? And once called his car a midlife crisis in metallic blue. Still, she was flattered when he invited her away. Weekend in Dartmoor, just us, countryside, whiskey, hot tub, he said one morning whilst she buttoned her shirt. You need a break from those dreary manuscripts. She smirked. And you're the tonic? Obviously. They stayed at a boutique lodge on the edge of Dartmoor. Wood-clad, Scandi style, overpriced. Richard hadn't been back to Devon in years, but his father had once owned land nearby. The gorse was just beginning to bloom, yellow blossoms like tiny suns against the bracken. They walked to the village pub the first night. She drank local cider and beat him at triv. On the way back, the wind howled through the trees. Isabel clutched his arm. Creepy, isn't it? She said. This feels like the veils worn thin. You read too many fairy tales. That is my job, she winked. He didn't sleep well that night. Something scratched at the window. Maybe a branch. Maybe not. Isabel snored softly beside him, her lipstick-stained glass still on the side. The next day, Isabel had a migraine and stayed in. He took the jag out, winding through narrow lanes between ancient hedgerows. The sky was the colour of dirty spoons. Rain came and went like mood swings. Then he saw her. She stood by a break in the gorse, where a stile led into a sheep field. A long green coat flared in the wind. Her hair, white, blonde and loose, was tangled with what looked like moss or feathers. She didn't move as he slowed down. Richard, ever curious where women were concerned, parked up and walked back down the road. She turned slowly. Her face was ageless. Could have been 20 or 40, but her eyes were a shade too pale. Not blue, not grey, something colder. Are you lost? He asked. No, she said, voice like a cello low string. But you might be. She didn't smile exactly, but something flickered in the corner of her mouth. He laughed an uncertain chuckle. "You should be careful walking the moor," she said, eyes never leaving his. "There are things older than the stones, things with sharp teeth." "I'm not scared of fairy stories." She turned. "Not yet," and elegantly flowed over the stile and walked off into the mist. No phone, no backpack, no dog. He stood there, slightly aroused, slightly spooked. That night Isabel's migraine lifted, but he was distracted. She noticed. "You all right?" Fine," he lied. "Just tired." The next day he made his excuses and went out again. He told himself it was just curiosity. He had no plan, but the mysterious woman was there, again by the stile, as if she'd never moved. They talked. He flirted. She didn't laugh. But neither did she leave. She told him her name was Maeve. He thought that was probably made up. "I'm not like the others," she said, watching a crow circle above them. He leaned in, reckless. "What others?" "All the little lambs you led to slaughter, all the girls you ruin and forget." He froze. Do I know you?" But she didn't answer. Instead, she kissed him. It was like being struck by lightning and drowning at the same time. Everything in him screamed yes, even the parts that knew he was about to be devoured. He stumbled back to the lodge an hour later, lips tingling, hair tousled, shirt half unbuttoned. Isabel was watching TV. "Have a nice walk?" "What? Yeah," he said, already half in another world. That night he dreamt of hooves pounding moss, and of stone circles, of screams echoing through fog. On Sunday he planned to sneak out again, but Maeve was waiting for him on the lodge decking. Isabel was taking a shower. Maeve stood there like smoke in human form. "You're mine now," she said. "I don't belong to anyone. You've taken everyone. Now it's your turn." He blinked. "What are you talking about?" She smiled. This time it was a terrible smile. Her teeth weren't quite right. Too sharp, too white. Her eyes shimmered. He saw them change from grey to mossy green to gold like a hawk's. "You've taken hearts and given nothing, left women hollow. It's time for you to pay the tithe." "What?" But she was gone. Panicked, he ran to the bathroom. Isabel wasn't there. "Isabel?" he called. "You in the bedroom?" Silence. He tore through the lodge. Her bag was gone. Her coat, too. On the kitchen counter was a single sprig of gorse, bright yellow. He drove back to London that night, rattled, unfocused. Every lay-by seemed to shimmer. Every hedge rustled with unseen watchers. When he got home, Isabel had blocked him. Over the next week, nothing went right. The car wouldn't start. His editor ghosted him. 2 of his girlfriends outed him online. A third had a breakdown and posted every message, every vile thing he'd said. The backlash was swift. He lost freelance work. People recognized him in the street and cursed at him. Then came the dreams. The stone circle, the taste of blood. Maeve in the gorse, naked, her eyes like fireflies. He tried to shake it off, went to therapy, deleted dating apps, bought crystals, but it made no difference. Then, one morning in June, he woke in his Shoreditch flat. Sunlight filtered in. His room looked odd. The shadows were too long, the air too still. He reached for his phone. Nothing. He sat up. The bed was gone. So were the walls. He was in the middle of a gorse-covered field, barefoot, naked, cold. Around him stood 12 figures in green cloaks, faces hidden. One stepped forward. Maeve. "Every 7 years," she said, "we take one. That's the tithe. For every heart you broke, a thorn. For every kiss, for every lie." She kissed him again, and this time it burned. He screamed, but no one in the world heard it. Back in Shoreditch, people barely noticed his disappearance. A few gossip blogs speculated. A police report was filed and quietly forgotten. Only Isabel knew the truth. She now wore feathers in her hair and wrote poems about the moor. And the gorse? It bloomed year-round, but kissing, that was well and truly out of fashion.